tell us the future is clean, that it is silent, that it is green. They tell us that by replacing oil with electricity and paper with screens, we are saving the world. But they are lying to you. Civilization is not built on code. It is built on the periodic table. We live in a hallucination where we believe big tech is an intellectual industry. We believe the power lies in the software, the algorithm, the brand. This is a fatal strategic error. The entire digital edifice, trillion-dollar companies, global banking, orbital defense systems, rests on a fragile foundation of 17 chemical elements, the rare earths. Without them, the modern world does not just slow down, it ceases to exist. Today, we are dismantling the illusion of the cloud. We are tracking the physical reality of power. From the illegal leach fields of Southeast Asia to the magnetic guidance systems of NATO missiles. This is not a story about rocks. This is a story about leverage. And right now, the West has zero. We are not moving into an era of virtual reality. We are moving into an era of unprecedented physical extraction. To build the cloud, we have to dig a hole in the earth, a hole filled with acid, radiation, and blood. You think the oil age was dirty? Welcome to the age of rare earths. The refining trap, chemistry and history. To understand the collapse of Western sovereignty, you must first respect the chemistry. Look at the periodic table. At the very bottom, detached, almost exiled, sit the lanthanides. Combined with scandium and yttrium, they form the rare earths. And here is the first secret. They are not rare. Cerium is more abundant than copper. Neodymium is more common than gold. The scarcity is not a matter of geology. It is a matter of chemistry. These elements suffer from a geological curse. They are antisocial. You will never find a pure vein of neodymium waiting to be harvested. Instead, they are chemically fused, locked at a molecular level inside complex mineral structures. The problem is not finding them. The problem is freeing them. Separating rare earths is one of the most toxic challenges in modern science. We are talking about isolating molecular twins. To split them, you must force apart atomic bombs engineered by nature to remain stable. This is not mining. This is high-end chemical warfare performed at an industrial scale. And the rock has a final, deadly defense mechanism. Rare earths have a natural affinity for radiation. To extract the magnets for your wind turbines or the sensors inside your smartphone, you must first manage a lake of radioactive sludge that will remain toxic for 10,000 years. This is the hidden price of admission to the digital age. The world is panicking about mines, but the mine is not the prize. The bottleneck is the separation plant. To isolate these metals, minerals must be cracked using concentrated sulfuric acid at extreme temperatures. What follows are thousands of stages of solvent extraction using kerosene and organic acids to tease one element away from the next, milligram by milligram. For every single ton of useful metal produced, you generate up to 2,000 tons of acidic wastewater. The West did not run out of these minerals. We looked at the cost of environmental sovereignty and decided it was too high. We chose to outsource our entropy. In the 1980s, we traded long-term national security for short-term quarterly profits. We handed the most critical stage of the supply chain to the only nation willing to absorb the environmental cost in exchange for global leverage. We did not lose this war. We surrendered before it even began. The Chinese monopoly, Deng Xiaoping, Baotou and Myanmar. It wasn't always this way. From the 1960s through the 80s, the United States was the king of rare earths. But while Wall Street became obsessed with software and capital-light business models, Beijing was playing the long game. In 1992, Deng Xiaoping issued a mandate that would shape the 21st century. The Middle East has oil. China has rare earths. They built a vertical monopoly. They subsidized state-run refineries until Western companies could no longer compete. They tolerated environmental devastation to achieve technological dominance. The result was a massacre of Western industry. America's rare earth titan, Molycorp, collapsed into bankruptcy. We didn't just lose mines. We lost infrastructure. We fired our engineers. We stopped teaching rare earth metallurgy in our universities. Today, China controls roughly 90% of the world's processing capacity. Even if a new mine opens tomorrow in Australia or the US, the raw concentrate will still be shipped to China for final separation. They control the flow. And when the flow stops, civilization stalls. The physical receipt for this strategy is Baotou. It is home to a gray, pulsating wound on the face of the planet, the Weiquang Dam, a 10-kilometer lake of toxic sludge, holding the radioactive waste of our digital revolution. Here, cancer villages emerged as groundwater turned to poison and the soil died. While the West celebrates a green transition, we ignore the radioactive mud of Baotou. We didn't solve the pollution problem. We just moved it to a zip code where we didn't have to look at it. But the demand is now so great that even China is pushing the destruction outward to the lawless borderlands of Myanmar. In Kachin State, warlords and militias use in situ leaching. They drill into rainforest mountains and pump ammonium sulfate directly into the earth. The mountain is not excavated. It is chemically liquefied. Toxic chemicals seep into rivers. Ecosystems vanish. This ore is laundered across the border into China, where it is refined and sold to the West. What begins as chemical warfare in a jungle re-emerges as clean inputs for your smartphone. We are not simply outsourcing production. We are outsourcing destruction and calling it efficiency. The grand illusion, the myth of recycling. When the crisis becomes undeniable, the comforting myth appears. We will just recycle. It is a delusion. Rare earths in electronics exist in microscopic quantities. Recovering them is not a matter of sorting. It is a matter of toxic, energy-intensive chemistry. Currently, less than 1% are recycled. Why? Because the economics are brutal, and the demand curve is now vertical. AI, humanoid robots, and massive data centers are detonating demand. We cannot recycle our way out of a deficit this deep. The era of digital abstraction is over. We are returning to a world of hard assets and physical borders. Physical sovereignty, control over the dirt and the chemistry, is the only security left. We have mapped the body of the machine, the bone, the blood, the ore. But a body without a brain is useless. In the next chapter, we leave the dirt behind and enter the clean rooms. We will examine the most complex object ever created by our species, the silicon chip. The war for the dirt is frightening, but the war for the chip, that is terrifying. Don't be a tourist in the future. Be a student of reality. Study the supply chain, or be owned by it. If you learned something new today, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm that we are treading the right path. Subscribe and prepare for the silicon game. From ore to chips to control.